Morning guys, it's May the 12th, I'm Henry Green from London Trading Group, and let's run through what we're going to see in the markets for today. Okay, so Euro's been choppy as choppy. It's kind of been like this for the last couple of days. We did have quite a bullish day yesterday. We took out the highs of 114, blasted straight through. We actually hit the D, even though the pullback was even deeper than expected. So as you can see, we got all the way up to 114.40. And this could now suggest a move higher, and I do like this. The strength that was shown there suggests it was more than just a clear out of stops, and I do like this to potentially go higher again now today. So all the moving averages have come through. We are now crossing underneath them all. So now I do like a move higher in the euro. We reached that first level of resistance at 114.40, and now potentially we do see this go higher. Now, the only thing I don't like about this euro is the fact that on the weekly chart, unless we take this high out, so unless we take the high of 116.10 out, we've hit the D on the weekly without a pullback yet to the 38. So for me, the higher time frames are still saying that we potentially would go lower. Yet on the day, it also suggests that as well. So just got to be wary of that one. Don't get drawn into a move higher too soon, unless it runs straight onto the 127, which obviously is a possibility, and that leads you up to 118. So maybe we do get that move up to 118. So we form a D here and now go up to 118. Other than that, though, at the moment you're certainly looking bullish. So I'll pull back into these moving averages before a buy again. So where can we target? Well, the next level up for me is 115.50. You don't really have anything, especially if you go through 114.40. So you've had one test of it. Let's see what happens on the second try. And if we manage to break through, I think 115.50 is my next level up. So you've got to see whether we reach there. If we do the next fib up, let's see where that takes you to. So the D of the next fib target is up at 115. Seems like a valid target and one that we can probably expect it to get to. So see if this inner trend line is broken. I imagine it is. So yeah, so we've broken through this trend line as well now. It's the first sign of weakness of this bearish trend, well, bearish short-term trend, and now potentially this could be over before we now push higher up towards 115. So potentially Euro could see a rally up to 115 today. Cable had another indecision day yesterday, but we have managed to hold above that 144.30. It is Super Thursday today, so there's going to be a lot of volatility in the pound today, so just be wary of that. Cable is just kind of going sideways. It has been doing. It's a very, very choppy market, very difficult to play. If you look at the last three or four days, it has just been very, very whippy, so just be careful of this one. Again, you've gone through the trend line, so technically the move up now is higher. And I do potentially see this going a lot higher. It's just when and where and how. And I think for the time being, cable is just going to go sideways. So I imagine what you could probably do, you could just box up where the chop's likely to occur between 144.80 and the low of 143.80, and just play it as a range, because that's probably the safer play until this properly breaks out and you see a proper break in cable. So good level of support down here, and therefore we could potentially look for the top side. And in this one, having broken through the counter trend line. So again, let's put the fibs in. Let's see where these take us. So pull back all the way there. So we could probably count that as a D hit. I probably would. You've gone deeper than the 14%. So you could see this now hold here and potentially rally high. And now the D's up at 145.50. I've got a level at 145.30, so this one seems to fib quite nicely. Yeah, 145.30 is good. That's between the 127 and the D, so you could see a pullback in sort of 144.15 zone. I think that's probably quite a good area to be looking for a buying cable for this right then rallies up to 145.30. So I'm going to look for that. Potentially not today, obviously, with all the data that we have coming out from the UK. So dollar yen got perfectly up to my level. I had a level at 109.42. Got perfectly up to there and rejected. So we are now down, well, back down at 108.80. So I like again a rally to go on, at least try and test the 50 on the day. That's up at 110.50. So the fibs also take you up to around 110. So I think a move higher is probably on the cards. Sell off yesterday was quite heavy though, so just be wary of that. And we have now potentially, well, we've closed bang at support at 108.35. So again, we could pick up a few buys here. Moving averages still all nicely aligned. They're just starting to cross over. So maybe a pullback and then we go higher in dollar yen. Certainly up through 109.40. I see is quite a good buy zone. Easy move up through there, up towards 110 with dollar yen. Dollar CAD sold off quite well. It just sold off quite nicely yesterday again, and this could now be the turnover in dollar CAD. We expected it just to come back down to test this 21 moving average, so don't get drawn into selling dollar CAD too soon, because this is actually just a retest of this 21 on the day that's been holding really nicely. So this could just be the pullback into the 38, which is basically now hit, and we could now see this potentially trade straight back higher. So trend line break of this through here. So if you have this line break here, I'll be certainly looking for the top side if we manage to hold on this 21. So that's offering support down there at, I'm going to tell you the exact level, that's at 128.15. So again, that's probably quite a good buy zone. Potentially expect a rejection from that before a bounce. And dollar CAD looks to me like we could hold it here and then potentially pop higher, break the trend line, and then we're away with that one as well. So dollar CAD's an interesting one. It was a key break the other day, so we could now see this trade significantly higher. This is just a pullback before, again, as I was saying, potentially a higher move. As you can see, that's quite a serious trend line break we've done, and now we just need that relief before we now exceed and push higher, and I think dollar CAD could trade significantly higher in the coming days. Aussie's the same. It's broken a key trend line. We are through that now, so let's see where we are on the bottom side. It's on the 60-minute chart. Again, the moving averages are just starting to turn over. We ran onto the 118s and then we've pulled back to the 38. So I think again 74.20 is a great sell zone. It didn't quite get there, but I'll still be looking to sell it should it get up there. Other than that, lower highs through the lows, I think that's quite a clear sell at the moment for me in Aussie. Again, the week was very bearish last week. We are back into the buy zone equivalently on the week. That's the only thing I don't like. And we hit a D, so it's a little bit risky to be playing the short side. But in terms of what the chart's selling us is the fact that this should now break for the short side. I've not got anything else that is saying otherwise. If you do manage to get a long breakout to the outer trend line on the hour, that's a lot higher, up towards 75, and that would make a little bit more sense, to be fair, in the Aussie, because what you then get is you get that pullback all the way up to the 38 on the day, which then leaves you significantly lower down towards 70.20. So I think this is just in a bit of an indecision area. As you can see, just like the markets at the moment, this is pretty choppy, and I don't think any direction is particularly clear in the Aussie. Kiwi's the same. You've gone through that trend line, you've broken it on both sides. So on the day you've broken it on the short side, and on the hour you've broken it on the long side now as well. So again, Kiwi's very choppy for me, and I don't really have a favoured side. You're trapped between my custom moving average and the 21 that's been holding really nicely. So it's just a case of a squeeze on this one before we then break either way. Yesterday's candle was very significant, and in times like this you just have to revert back to the higher time frames, and the higher time frames are saying we've broken the weekly channel. We have pulled back to the 38 already, so that's complete. So we're back in the buy zone on the week, and now potentially we could see this go higher. Now, how is it going to do it on the day? Well, on the day you've broken the trend line, and now potentially we could see this trade lower short term before recovering and going higher. So I think this is just giving mixed signals at the moment, so I'm just going to leave this one alone. I think there's clearer markets to have. I think dollar CAD's a little bit clearer, potentially dollar yen, cable stuck in a range, and euro looks like potentially it wants to break higher. So again, just like the rest of the week, I'm going to be going for the crosses today, as I think that the majors are pretty choppy and not as straightforward as they could be. Okay guys, I hope that's been useful. I'll be back tomorrow with another market update. Click subscribe to never miss a video again, and happy trading. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye bye.